Hello, good evening, good evening. I feel like I'm in an aircraft carrier. I don't know whether or not it's at my end or at your end. It's all a bit whoosh, 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 whoosh.
There are a lot of noise. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make life easier for everybody because it might be my fan.
Oh, that's
in here.
okay.
Let me get me ears, and I shall see if it makes a difference when I plug in.
Oh, let's try this. I'm going to do this as well. Hang on.
Oh, look at yours. Yours look designed for those silent discos. So
Josh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to FindYourWHY Foundation of the Day. Who have we got joining us this evening? We're lovely Teresa Willard, and we'll welcome Wisdom.
Has that changed the sound? Taking that fan noise away?
Yes.
It's all my fans. They're cheering.
Yeah. Nutter. If you've never met Marion before, welcome to Marion's world. And Teresa, welcome. So tonight, the question is, what's Teresa saying? Hello to both, awesome. Hello, awesome back. So every day during the week, we answer a why question. And this can be anything from the finding your why do I feel like this? You know, things that are that potential blocks that get in your way. This could be questions about who you are, why you do certain things, why you don't do certain things, etc., etc. And so tonight, myself, Dr. Cheryl Chapman, and the lovely Dr. Marion.
Dr. Marion Bevington. Welcome to Planet Marion on this rather stormy Tuesday.
Yes. And so the question for today is coming soon. So the question for today is, why don't I want to see myself on video? So this has come from one of our lovely ladies in the Live, Love, Laugh Lounge, or from one of Andor, actually. I think this may have come from both, from our lovely wise men in the man cave. So why don't I want to see myself on video? So why would you even be on video in the first place, apart from maybe the sort of videos we wouldn't want to talk about? So why would you be on video? Well, these days, I mean, we're in the age of communication. There's Facebook Live, there's Be Live, which is what we're on now. There's YouTube, there's Live, there's even LinkedIn Live, I believe now, isn't there?
Oh, really?
So it's a way of getting yourself seen. Mm-hmm. So why is it that people do not want to see themselves on video? Marion, what's your thoughts on this?
Oh, well, this is actually a really complicated question. Doesn't look like it, does it? Looks really simple. But the thing, but what's behind this can get really quite complex. When you are watching yourself and you're not enjoying the experience of watching yourself, the basic cause of that is because you've got this expectation. Hello.
We're back.
Are you still there?
Oh. Yes, I'm back. The lovely Teresa was telling us that we looked like we were underwater. So I just thought I'd reload. Teresa, if you could just let us know if that's any better. So sorry, yes. So what's the reason why we don't like to see ourselves on video, Marion?
Do me underwater moves. So, well, it's because there's an expectation, and the expectation is all about, it's usually about perfectionism, really. I think that's to try and bring it into the smallest category. Otherwise, we'd be here for days talking about this. I think it's down to this idea of perfectionism. It's the idea of this expectation that you will look perfect, you will sound perfect. And as soon as you take one glimpse at yourself, you always spot what you don't like. It's very, very rare, and it takes a lot of work to get to a place where you can see an image of yourself, see yourself on video and hear yourself and actually really enjoy the process. And it's been labelled as kind of narcissistic, I think. It's coming up again.
It's coming up again
recently, isn't it? But actually, what I know is that the more I enjoy sharing, the more I'm enjoying what I'm doing and the results that it's having. It's like the more I actually enjoy doing videos and seeing videos. I was actually watching a video the other day with my friend that I did over a year ago. She asked me about something. I still got a video about it. And it was really interesting listening to myself. And, you know, it was before my hair was cut like this. I was like, oh my God, my hair looks a bit of a state on that. So I was criticizing what I looked like. But actually, when we were listening to what I was saying, it was really lovely. And I even did a little practice. So me and my friend sat there and did this practice together. And it was a really lovely experience. And it was like watching an old friend, because it was me over a year ago. And because I was really pleased with what I'd said, that just encourages me to watch what I do more, and to not, I really don't have a problem anymore. But I do remember the first time I ever got freaked out by myself being recorded, and it was my voice, because I had no idea what I sounded like, because you don't sound inside your head what you sound like when you hear yourself through speakers or something. I mean, even with a microphone, it sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But listening to something that had been recorded, it was years and years and years ago, and it really freaked me out, because it just wasn't what I was expecting. And I think that's part of what goes on with video as well, that we're just not expecting it at all. You know, we didn't expect, I don't know, with me, I'm not expecting to see like my double chin or, you know, and it's always criticism, isn't it? It's crazy. I think rather than that, I should go, oh, I love this little curly bit here that sticks out. And just celebrate that I'm here.
It is so true. I think that video has taken over from photographs, because obviously we don't really unless it's selfies, and then of course, you know, if you're certain types of people, I mean, I kind of like take it, and you know, most of the time I'll just use a picture I take, but of course some people are like selfie perfectionists, aren't they? Bit of hair brushing, bit of teeth whitening, bit of pegs behind the back of the head, have I got double chin, make sure it's up here, make sure it's down, you know, and all the rest of it. But I can remember many years, would probably be around about 22 years ago, I won a makeover. And the makeover that I won consisted of myself and Chippy going to have some photographs taken, and I had this makeover, and I remember, I mean, I've still got the photographs now with me with bright blue eyeshadow, and I wear blue eyeshadow sometimes these days, but the way that this thing was thrown on, it was just like blue and blue, and then this lipstick, and we had these photographs taken, and when we went back to choose, you know, one of these photographs, because obviously we'd only won one, but they'd taken about 3 million zillion. I've told you a million times, don't exaggerate. You know, and when we were looking at them, I was going, no, and like Chippy was going, I really like that picture of you, that's a really lovely picture, and I'm going, really? Oh my God, that's disgusting. And then I was looking at the pictures of him, and I was going, oh, that's a nice one of you. And he was like, oh, I don't really like that one. And we worked out, even on that, this is probably the closest I got to personal development 23 years ago, which was, I said, do you know what I think it is? I think it's like, I know what you look like because I see you every day. So when I look at the picture, you know, it's the same person. But like in my imagination, I think I look a lot better than what I do. Or like you said, you know, my nose doesn't look quite as long when I'm looking in the mirror to myself, or when I'm imagining myself. And I think that's the same with video. Because yeah, definitely the same with the voice. You know, if I hear myself on on like an answer machine message, you know, back in the day, I'd be like that. Oh my gosh, I thought my voice was like really. I thought I always had like a really sultry voice, a really low kind of sexual voice. You know what I mean? And I listen to myself and I sound like a strangled.
You sound like that.
You know, like that. It's like, oh, it's not quite who I thought I was. So yeah, so I agree with you absolutely 100%, Maz. I think it's because we see what we weren't expecting, because in our minds we've created this vision of what we think we look like.
And I remember one of my very favourite photographs of myself when I was in my early 20s. It didn't look like me. If you show it to anybody, nobody would know it was a photograph of me, and it was my favourite picture of myself.
What's Teresa saying? Oh yes, I'm trying to put a video on my Facebook group today. Here are the feelings, Marion, and thinking it's not good enough. Yes. Of course, Miss Perfection. Yes. Now Teresa's been doing really well actually, because she hadn't done many videos before at all, joining the Live Love Laugh Lounge, part of the FindYourWHY Foundation, and now of course she puts them out there. And it's not to be criticised. In the lounge, you know, we do give feedback if that's what you ask for. You know, we're here to serve, but it's a way of showing, look, you know, in this day and age, we have this amazing ability of sharing something that could change somebody's life the other side of the world, literally at the click of a button. And interestingly enough, I've just had a mentoring session with one of my lovely mentees who sent me an email last night saying, oh, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, or I can't remember the exact words, but feeling a bit overwhelmed, and so I'll come back to you when I'm ready. And I'm like, not on my fucking watch. You're not taking I'm sorry, that's not happening. So I just had a little chat today. And I mean, honestly, this guy's got so much to give, so much valuable information for the world, actually. And, you know, as Marion says, you know, and I did use your quote, Maz, you know, build a bridge and get over yourself, because it's no longer about you. This is about all the people you can serve. So stop trying to be perfect, you know, be passionate, share what you believe, share what you have, because you are good enough, and it is good enough. Because think about someone who's where you might have been. You know, if I think about where I was 5-6 years ago, maybe more like 6-7 years now. Gosh, time does move on, doesn't it? You know, 6-7 years ago, I was stuck. I was existing. I was asleep. I was a zombie, you know, like whatever it is. And where I am now, you know, I really do love you know, every day that I've got. I mean, it's it's not very often when I'm absolutely miserable, unless, you know, my dog's just died, or, you know, something comes up like that. But I mean, I still get frustration every day, most days, or I don't know. Actually, I don't get frustrated every day. That's not true. Most days are pretty fucking awesome, to be honest. There are days when I feel frustrated. There are times when I feel, you know, a bit depressed or down, just like everybody else, because guess what? I'm fucking human. And that there are all the emotions. But, you know, my life's pretty good, and I'm not complaining. Now, if I can get somebody, you know, so take me back, you know, 7 years, and if I go, hello, you're me, and in the future you're going to have like really great days, and you're going to be able to do what you want to do, and like you're going to get on Facebook Live and have a laugh with your mate and a big cup of tea every day, and just chit chat, and hopefully it'll help somebody in some way. You know, would you like to exchange where you are now for that? I'd have fucking bought the ticket. Do you know what I mean? So if that would have helped me, I'm sure it's going to help some people. It might not help everybody, because not everybody resonates with me, likes me, whatever. But guess what? I don't care, because if I can find the people that do resonate with me, that I can help, that's enough, isn't it? Yeah. And then, Maz, you've got your people that want to follow you, and you know, it's just like you really have to get over yourself. Right. Anyway, that's me ranting. Over to you. While I have a cup of tea, enjoying myself.
So the other thing I think is really important is that when you've got a message to share, think about yourself when you've received information that's helped you. The person who was sharing that information, what they were giving you was so much more valuable than how they looked, or the tone of their voice, or their accent, or how often they swear or didn't. You know, it's like the message that you can share with people that is actually what's really important. And the more you're concerned with what you look like, the more you're concerned with what you sound like, the more you're concerned with how clever you are, the less connected you are to your heart, because you're in your head. You're in that place of judgment in your head. You're there with your conditioning and all your expectations. And that valuable treasure that you've got in your heart is locked away while you're in this place. And we've all got goodies. We've all got jewels to share. Regardless of who you are, there's something that you know, or there's something that you've experienced that can help somebody else. And if you remember whenever somebody's helped you, or some information has helped you, how valuable that is and how grateful you are, then you're denying that same experience to somebody else if you're only concerned about what you look like. I can see that Teresa's put another question up, and it's brilliant. I love it, because you've really got to the core of what happens here. So when you're talking to your mum face to face, you're fine, but then you're out of your depth with a computer screen. Well, there's lots of stuff in there, but basically when we're talking face to face with somebody, we've got this active energy transfer going on, and it's got loads of information, and it's got pheromones, it's got you know, when we like oxytocin and all those amazing brain chemicals. Oxytocin is the bonding agent. I think it's oxytocin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It's the bonding chemical that mums get when they're feeding their baby, or that anybody, like when you're with your dog, or you're with your cat, or your nan, or just when you're in a situation where you feel connected and you feel loved, and you can feel the love of the other. That bond is one of the things that really helps us when we're communicating, because we're communicating in that space where we feel connected and loved. So when you're talking to your mum, I mean, you know, even if you've not got a brilliant relationship with your mum, that's my story, by the way, Teresa, I'm not pushing on you. But if I was having a conversation with my mum about something that I knew she was interested in, it was really easy to talk to her. So, I mean, just the communication, the two-way communication does really help when we are talking, for us to be fluent and, you know, just to flow, our conversation to flow. So when you've got a camera in front of you, you've got to learn how to imagine that connection is there. You've got to learn how to visualize. I know, Cheryl, you used to put all your teddies out, didn't you, when you were first practicing public speaking work that you were doing? Yeah. I don't know how I do it now, but I can look in. So I'm just looking in the little camera here, but I can look in that little camera, and I think partly because I have seen myself on video so many times now, I kind of know what it looks like on the other side of the screen. So I can create that connection feeling, that flow feeling. So practice, definitely, but also understanding how the feeling is when you do, what did you say, when you're feeling totally out of your depth. So to explore this feeling totally out of your depth, explore what that is, what's the felt sense of that in your body, and then you can use the tools that we teach in the Find Your Why, the Aim to Find Your Why. We've got loads of different tools that we teach. Tapping, there's breathing, there's loads of stuff that we've got that you can start to really explore and unravel that feeling of out of your depth. And I imagine, Teresa, this idea of being out of your depth means that you've got this visual of somebody watching you who's going to criticize you. You'll always be criticized and you'll always be loved. Which one do you choose to focus on? Because that's a choice. It really is a choice. And the more we can unravel that feeling out of depth feeling, the more you'll be able to make a choice and not get knocked out by your subconscious triggering you into fear again. So yeah, practice and clearing, unraveling the current feeling that you get right now. That's how to sort it out. That's how to change it.
Yeah, because that feeling's probably come from somewhere. It may have come from when you were at school, you know, and you felt judged. I just want to do a couple of things. First of all, it's not her mum that she was speaking to, Marion. It's the mums, because she speaks to mums. Her target audience are mums. Just before we started getting Marion's personal trauma release happening. And also oxytocin is what helps the contractions. I feel like I'm in dictionary corner. Oh. So it's kind of like the flow, if you like.
But it really is. It's the bond. It's massive bonding that goes on with oxytocin. If we could all take a big dose of oxytocin every morning, we'd live in a world full of love.
Oh, fabulous, with our flowers in our hair. Teresa saying thank you. You're very welcome, Teresa. So we're looking forward to seeing some more videos. Yeah, some practical tips. Maz's absolutely 100% correct. You know, if you can try and get to the bottom of this feeling while you have it, then of course that helps you. Knowledge is power. Then you can move forward from that. In terms of practical, yes, I used to have my Harrods teddy bear collection around the room, and Aussie dog, bless him. Oh, little Aussie dog. But of course they don't really talk much, and Aussie used to just fart a lot. He didn't used to nod, you know. He didn't look grumpy. He just wagged his tail, you know, or anything like that. So it is better to have, like, you know, somebody that's moving. But once you've practiced doing that, now, you know, Maz is right. You know, I can look at this green light, or I can look at Maz if we're on this call together. And now when I look down the green light, I'm thinking about who I'm speaking to. You know, you're on the call, so I know what you look like. I can already see you, see, and I'm already thinking as if we are having an actual conversation with just you. Because when you're just speaking to one person down the camera, it's vitally important. I could be speaking just to you, and at the same time, I could be speaking just to Winston, who was on the call before, or I could be just speaking to Cheryl, who's usually on the call, and because I know what you look like, I can imagine you there already, and it's like we're having a two-way conversation, exactly the same. Now, with the aid of your comments, of course, you know that the two-way conversation is happening, even though I can't see you, only in my mind. And so that's why you'll still hear us saying a few ums and ahs, and I'll be having a cup of tea because I'm quite relaxed, because I'm not trying to be all, you know, prim and proper. You know, the why question of the day is designed to have this conversation. It's sharing wise concepts, sharing wise opinions. You know, some people might disagree with what we say. They might think completely the opposite, and that's absolutely fine. But this is what we believe. Sometimes Marion doesn't agree with me, but you can only share what you believe. You know, don't want to be hung, drawn, and quartered for it. I don't think we live in those ages anymore, do we?
I love that's it's really cool that this ability for us to agree to disagree and not to hold a grudge is a really big shift in the way that we communicate, and I think that would definitely make a big difference, because if you think somebody was going to criticize you, that's just their opinion. You know, it's very interesting that we all have different opinions, because if we all had the same opinions, it'd be a bloody boring world.
Angelica and myself have arranged to meet next Monday to practice video techniques. Good. Excellent. Practice video interviews. Cheryl just made my own words up there. That's excellent, Teresa. So that's even better, because now this is the Live, Love, Laugh Lounge theme, because the wise women come together and the wise men come together in a man cave to collaborate. Yay! To you know, be part of a community. Yay! And to be creative. Yay! This is exactly what we created the Live, Love, Laugh and the Man Cave for. So that's brilliant news. And of course, the more that Teresa's now saying, "Hooray!" Yes, because you know, we can't be there with everybody. We have got you know, a couple of wise women on the move, or on the go. We've got a couple of days where the WHYs team can get together and we can help people with such things as well. I think you may recall, if you were listening, that I was on a lovely women conference last week in Nottingham area, in Retford. And there was a few ladies there that I literally sort of manhandled onto Facebook Live, or even cajoled or encouraged in my own little way, like me and Marion do, which is, right, stand here we go, we're on. And one of the ladies did say afterwards, oh my gosh, I'd never done that before. In fact, I think all three have said, I'd never been on Facebook Live. And we were like, well, you popped your cherry now, so that's that ticked. You can't use that excuse anymore. But of course, the next bit of fear that came up was, well, I'll never watch myself back again. Well, if you don't watch yourself back again, you're never going to be able to improve, because when you watch back, you can go, oh, I did that great, so I can do some more of that. And, oh, yeah, I can see, actually, when I used to first do Facebook Lives, you know, I'd be looking over here, thinking I had to look over here at this camera, you know, this part of the video on the camera, and then realised, oh, no, I'm supposed to look here where the actual camera is. So you can learn, you know, and it's just to make it even better for next time. But yes, Marion's 100% right in the fact that you're probably thinking there's going to be some criticism, and those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind. And as Maz says, you know, we keep saying this lovely quote, but I do love it about the fruit bowl. What's that again? Oh, yes.
You can be the juiciest, sweetest, ripest peach in the bowl, and there'll always be bastards who don't like peaches. Do you think the peach gives a shit?
No, exactly. So there is only you. Only you can be you, and people who like you, who are like you, will follow you. And people who are not like you won't follow you. Who cares? There you go. Can't be everything to everybody. Any other practical tips, tools, techniques? Any other questions? Okay, so actually,
what Teresa said.
So Teresa's saying, any tips for us next Monday, please? Yes. Here's what I suggest. I suggest that you set your camera up in between the two of you. So the camera is facing the person who's going to be doing the conversation. So the camera's in between, and that the other person can ask you questions and you can answer the questions, because then you'll get used to imagining what it looks like if you were just speaking to one person. That's my one tip. What tips do you have, Maz?
My tip is to make sure that you leave lots of time, because when you interview somebody and you ask them a question, often, I know this happens to me as well, by the time the person doing the interview gets to the end of the question, I don't know if I've got the question right or not. So I might waffle a bit. But then if the person doing the interview doesn't butt in, it usually draws out a lot more information. And if you're going to edit the videos, it's a really great way to allow people to really connect with what it is that they want to share, because we do feel a bit rushed sometimes. And the interviewers don't like leaving gaps. If you're going to do a live video, it might not be so cool because, you know, that's dead airspace, isn't it? But if you know that you're going to be doing a bit of editing, it's a really, really good tip to just pause a lot when you've answered questions, because that really helps, as I say, to people can really indulge themselves in what they're going to share with you.
I've just had a ping, 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 which is light bulb. First of all, I do love what Teresa's saying. Also, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So here's an invitation, Teresa. How would you like to be on this show with us?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just waiting for the reaction, because I think after your Monday, maybe you could join us on Tuesday, possibly. Or even just join Mazzy B, because I'm not quite sure what's happening next week. I'm a bit here, there and everywhere. Maz is planning on going somewhere, Glastonbury or something, I don't know. But yes, we are inviting you, Teresa, to join us on this live Facebook. That's the reaction.
Yay!
Yay! That's it, yes! Oh, that's like yay! Or is it, oh, who knows? Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, Teresa. Thank you. Thank you for volunteering, and thank you for bringing that idea to this table. I'm loving it. She's like, oh, shit. We will arrange a time. It might not be Tuesday. We'll arrange a time with you for next week. And it's actually given me an idea. I think we will invite each of the wise women, or we'll invite, you know, some of the wise women. Yes, that's what we want. Good on you. So we'll arrange that. And we'll also invite other ladies and gentlemen who would like to join us, and let's find out about your stories. Let's find out about what you're doing, and let's do a little mini interview series. What do you think, Maz? Shall we do that?
That sounds like a fabulous idea.
Fabulous idea. So thank you, Teresa, for that suggestion. In fact, hang on 2 ticks. If you just bear with me a moment, I'm just going under my desk.
She's going down.
Going down, mate. Oh, what could it be? What could it be?
What's she getting?
Teresa,
Russell.
Wonderful idea. You have just been the proud owner of a Find Your Why canvas bag.
Woohoo!
Or you can have a Find Your Why mug, whichever you prefer, darling. We will give you that for being here and being creative, etc. So thank you very much for joining. God, that was a bit hard. I really need to lose weight. Okay. if leaning underneath the table causes me to be out of breath. So thank you very much. Anything else to add before we leave? It's been lovely speaking with you this evening. We will, of course, be joining you again tomorrow for another Find Your Why question.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you've got any questions, then please put them in the chat box. Or please PM us. Super. I'm glad you're pleased, Teresa. Yes. So in the meantime, remember to live, love and laugh every day. And thank you for joining us. That's a thank you from me, Cheryl Chapman.
And thank you from her,
Marion Bevington. And thank you to Teresa and everybody else who's joining us either live or on the recording. Please put your comments in the box, and we look forward to speaking with you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Bye.